Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half the price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Things with Wings Productions presents episode 36 of the Skylark Bell Wingspan. I'm your host, Melissa Oliveri. In our previous episode, Magpie was finally reunited with Lucas for the last time, allowing them to both gain closure before he passed away. In today's episode, we read chapter 36, Crossing the Line, in which Magpie, after decades of living in pocket under Farfalla's identity, finally crosses paths with a familiar face. Be sure to listen through to the end of the episode for a preview of another spooky podcast I quite enjoy called Paranormal Exposed. Now, it's time to settle in, grab a blanket and a warm drink. We're getting started. Magpie is carrying several jars of blackberry jam in a basket, taking slow, shuffling steps toward Tofeto's. She's not as strong and limber as she once was, and the basket feels heavy. "Good morning, Farfalla," says Mr. Tofeto pleasantly as she walks in the door. "I've got your package ready to go right here. Just a moment," he says, placing the last of the cupcakes in the display case before stepping behind the counter. Magpie hears the bakery door open behind her, followed by light footsteps on the hardwood floor. Her heart jumps when she hears a familiar voice say, "Oh my, the smell in here is absolutely divine." "Fresh baked bread will do it every time," says Mr. Tofeto, turning his attention to the woman. Magpie can feel her heart shattering into a million pieces. She hasn't heard her mother's voice in nearly 60 years. She swallows down the lump in her throat and blinks back the tears that have sprung in her eyes. "Oh, I didn't mean to skip the line. Please, go ahead," says Mrs. Phaeton, noticing Magpie standing against the wall. Magpie continues to stare straight ahead, knowing she will break down if she turns to look at her mother's beautiful face. Mr. Tofeto, sensing awkwardness, asks Mrs. Phaeton, "What brings you in today?" "My daughter and I are having a dinner date tonight. I thought I'd stop in for a baguette and perhaps some dessert," she replies. Mr. Tofeto points her in the direction of the cupcakes, then grabs a baguette from the basket on the counter behind him and places it by the cash register. Finally, he brings Magpie's package over while Mrs. Phaeton is busy choosing desserts from the glass display case. Magpie hands him the basket with the jars of jam and scurries away, tears still stinging her eyes. She shuffles home as quickly as her century-old legs will allow. Once inside her house, she collapses into her rocking chair and pulls the green shawl over her knees. Only then does she allow the tears to flow. She has always known this day would come, but she has spent so many years lost in the blur of her daily routine, she lost track of time. And so begins the end, she says to herself between heaving sobs. Magpie stays home for a few days, terrified of running into her mother again. Finally, realizing she can't stay hidden forever, she makes her way to the early bird for breakfast. But instead of her routine shuffle to and from the diner, she is on high alert, constantly looking around. She can't remember the exact day she first encountered Farfalla in her youth. It has been almost 90 years. She knows at some point she will come face to face with herself, and the thought sends a chill down her spine as she recalls Lucas's final words. Crossing timelines sparked the silence. After a few weeks of business as usual, Magpie starts to let her guard down. Perhaps the event won't repeat exactly. Perhaps things will be different this time. On a warm summer day, she decides to spend a little extra time on her front porch before heading to the early bird. She sits quietly, soaking in the sun, throwing pieces of dried corn to the little chipmunk that has taken residence under the flagstone walkway on her front lawn. Finally, she starts to feel hungry and makes her way to the diner. "Farfalla, you're late," teases Mrs. Kestrel, tapping her watch as Magpie walks in the door. Magpie smiles at her as she slowly makes her way to her usual booth at the back of the restaurant. She takes her time savoring her usual blackberry waffles and sweet orange tea, watching as the residents of Pocket come and go. Of all the places in Pocket, the early bird has pretty much remained the same in the 53 years since she landed here, and it provides her with a sense of comfort and security. Finally, Magpie is ready to go home. She stands and walks slowly across the dining room to the exit. She pushes the door open and steps out into the light of day, the wind blowing her long, white hair wildly around her head. It takes her a moment to realize there's someone standing in front of her. A wave of shock runs through her body when she recognizes her younger self. Wild red hair, a spattering of freckles across her nose, bright blue eyes staring at her, opened as wide as they will go. It is only a fleeting moment. Magpie pushes past and walks away as quickly as her old feet can handle. It has happened. The day has come. She feels the electricity in the air and that invisible heaving of the earth beneath her feet. The crossing of timelines. The silence at Meadow Lane will start to spread now. It has all been set in motion. The memories come to her in a flash, one after the other. Next, she will see her younger self and Lucas having a picnic on the front lawn of the library. She recalls how, back then, she had felt sorry for Farfalla's lonely existence. Little did she know. Magpie finally reaches her house and lets herself fall into one of the chairs on the front porch, not having enough strength to find her key, unlock the door, and let herself inside. She sits for a moment, gathering her thoughts. Something is tingling in the back of her mind. Something off. Something wrong. A blackbird lands on the porch railing, staring at her with its round, shiny eyes. Slowly, Magpie realizes what it is that is bothering her. That day she and Lucas had a picnic, just after she had seen Farfalla across the street. A flock of birds had flown overhead, and one of them had dropped a blackberry on her lap. She had placed the blackberry in the picnic basket, but later on it had disappeared, leaving a small silver feather-shaped key in its place. A key that had eventually unlocked the box in which the Skylark Bell was stored, beneath the secret floorboard at Meadow Lane. At that time, and for many years later, she and Lucas had presumed Farfalla was the one behind this magic trick, like she was gifted with special powers of some sort. Magpie is well aware she has no such powers. While she is friendly with the birds on her porch, she certainly cannot control how and where they fly, or when. Nor can she transform a berry into a key. But if she wasn't responsible for the strange occurrences, then who? Thank you so much for listening. Join me next week for Wingspan Chapter 37, The Beginning of the End, where Magpie, still living as Farfalla and knowing she is running out of time, tries to warn her younger self in a final attempt to set the timeline straight. The Skylark Bell is brought to you by Phaeton Starling Publishing and features original music by Canal. If you're enjoying this story, please consider leaving a rating on Spotify or a review on Apple Podcasts. They help give the podcast visibility so others can find and enjoy the story. You can also support my work by subscribing to Patreon, where you get early access to episodes as well as MP3 downloads of the music, artwork, behind-the-scenes videos, and so much more. Just check the show notes for links to Patreon, my website, and social media accounts. Before I go, I'd like to share this reel for a podcast I quite enjoy called Paranormal Exposed. Listen to the skeptic host's take on paranormal stories. If you enjoy the more ghostly side of the Skylark Bell, you'll want to check out Paranormal Exposed.
Hey guys, this is Michelle, and I want to first of all thank you all for checking out this podcast. You may be wondering what you were in for tuning into a podcast called Paranormal Exposed. Well, let me tell you what you're going to get on this ride. First off, I am a skeptical want-to-be believer in the paranormal. I'm going to be looking into various paranormal stories and give you all the information that you can possibly handle. You will get the history behind your favorite stories, along with some stories you might never have heard of. So, of course, this isn't a history podcast, it's a paranormal one. So, of course, I'm going to present the haunted reports, as well as any photographic, video evidence, or any of that I find along the way. All the episodes will feature stories based in the United States, and I will cover various paranormal phenomena. So join this skeptic every Wednesday wherever you tune into podcasts, and together we will find the truth and expose the paranormal to be real or not.
Once again, thank you for listening. I'm Melissa Oliveri, writer, host, and producer of the Skylark Bell podcast.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.